dear viewers, and welcome to the Kids Show. I am your host Nayaab Parmar. Imam Ali alayhi salam was born to Hazrat Abu Talib and Bibi Fatima bint Asad on Friday, the 13th of Rajab 600 AD. An honor in Islamic history that was only reserved for this particular Imam, birthed in the Holy Kaaba. Imam Ali is one of the greatest leaders in Islamic history. He was a man from whom many lessons may be learned and many examples may be derived from. He was the embodiment of generosity, justice, bravery, and dedication to the religion of Islam. In today's show, we will be discussing about the justice of Imam Ali alayhi salam with Sister Zainba Raza and Sister Sausan Karim. Welcome to the show. So, Zainab, what is justice?
Justice in short terms would mean fairness, which is giving the rights to the right person and never letting any social or wealth or color or even status change your true decision. Example, a crime committed by a wealthy person would be looked at differently than a crime committed by a poor person.
Meaning there's not much justice in the world today.
To me, justice has many meanings. It would mean putting right things in the right place, being just or fair. It is also mixed up with equality, though the major difference is that in same and equal, whether deserving or not, justice is based on the abilities of a person. For example, the duties and responsibilities of a man and woman in Islam are different because they are physically different. A man is required to struggle and earn, whereby a woman is required to be loving and caring to her family, because they have been created with these differences in their nature.
Equality would mean treating everyone the same, and that wouldn't be fair because in this world, everyone is different. So, is justice a universal concept?
To me, justice is a universal concept because even those people who commit injustice don't like injustice committed back on them. They want justice to be on them. They may commit injustice, but they like justice on themselves. So everyone has to practice justice.
It's universal. It's not just limited to Islam.
Yeah.
All human beings, whichever religion you may be in, love justice by its nature, but it's the greed and power and hunger of power and material life which pushes people to be unjust.
Yeah, as Sausan just said, they like people to be just to them, but no one wants to be just themselves. Yes. Practice what you preach. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Socrates were all individuals who were of different backgrounds. I mean, they were all different. But they all had general universal qualities. They all stood up for justice. The biggest mistake many Muslims make is that they limit and they contain Imam Ali alayhi salam to be a Muslim. They don't consider him to be a man, a normal human being of universal qualities. This is an injustice to him. Knowledge, generosity, eloquence, justice are all universal principles and values, and they're not restricted to a Muslim. They are values that every human shares. He was not just a Muslim leader, and justice is not limited to Islam. So, all great personalities have a teacher. Who instilled justice in Imam Ali alayhi salam? Sausan.
This is a question like who made honey sweet. Just like the sweetness and honey are meant to be synonyms to the extent that we compare sweetness with honey and say sweeter than honey, justice and Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam are synonyms. There is nobody as just as Imam Ali alayhi salam. He was so just that when he was martyred in Masjid of Kufa, people said Ali's justice killed him. He was killed because people did not want his justice since it was against their personal gains. Coming to your question, Imam Ali alayhi salam was personally brought up by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Lady Khadija alayhi salam. The Prophet was a perfect role model. As per the Quran, Khadija, a perfect and just woman with business ethics.
He lived with proper role models.
Yeah.
It's like you are known by the company you keep because they always affect you. Zainab, do you have anything to add?
Imam Ali was chosen by Allah, and it's a clear logic that a leader appointed by Allah has to be perfect and not the one who sees interests and favors other people. He has to be just.
He shouldn't be, his soul shouldn't be filled with worldly desires.
Yes.
Otherwise, in that case, people will go against justice. So, Rasulullah was a manifestation of God's justice on earth. He practiced a lot of justice, including giving women the right to inherit and the right to receive dowry, which would previously go to her father. So, the Holy Prophet was an excellent teacher. Imam Ali has said that justice can never be achieved without two things: sacrifice and honoring the trust of people. Both aspects were shown the night the Holy Prophet was migrating from Makkah to Medina. That night, the Holy Prophet asked Imam Ali alayhi salam to sleep on his bed for him. And Imam Ali knew that that was the night when the Quraysh were going to murder the Holy Prophet on his bed. And this is seen as a sacrifice on Imam Ali's part. But not only that, the Holy Prophet also requested Imam Ali to return the belongings of the Makkans before coming to Medina. This shows that he even practiced social justice. This shows that justice can even be achieved between believers and non-believers. And as we previously mentioned, justice is universal. Did Imam Ali alayhi salam only instill justice as a Khalifa? Zainab?
No, because even when he was not yet a Khalifa, Imam Ali was well known that in the term of the first three Khalifas, when they got stuck, they would only call Imam Ali because he had the knowledge and the justice to solve their problems.
Justice needs wisdom.
Yes.
Sausan?
I agree with Zainab saying that he was just at every state of his life, and even in the period of 25 years when he was not an open ruler, there are several times when he helped out and guided the rulers of the time. There's a saying of Sayyidahum Umar, who has said that had it not been for Imam Ali alayhi salam, Umar would have been perished. Throughout his entire life, Imam Ali practiced justice with Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar,
which are two important aspects. It's like if you don't practice these two, if you see injustice and you don't do anything to help that person who's suffering, you're just as bad as the person who's doing the injustice. So what you just said, it just implied that Imam Ali didn't just stay silent for the 25 years. He also spoke out when he saw injustice, because that would be, if he wouldn't have done that, he would be going against Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Zainab?
Yes.
Did Imam Ali speak out when he saw injustice? What do you think?
He did speak out, but he didn't actually go speak out for him to get the caliphate. He spoke out so that he could guide people to the right path and make justice.
He knew when and how to speak.
Yes.
A wise man speaks because he has something to say, and a fool speaks because he has to say something. So we'll be back after a short break. Welcome back. We just discussed the meaning of justice and Imam Ali's justice in brief. Now we're going to discuss on why justice is important. Zainab?
The importance of justice is that justice stands for the truth, and justice is the right decision. And we cannot have normal people, ordinary people, do justice because they will always look at their interests and their favor, who is favoring them, and they will make justice, which is called also injustice.
Which is why, as we mentioned before, Imam Ali was a person who did not have worldly desires in his soul.
Yes.
Sausan, anything?
Justice promotes peace as everyone is content at heart. It also avoids the wars and fights. For example, when I know for sure that my mom is just, I will not mind her buying something extra for my brother, as I know he must have done something good to deserve that extra share. Or looking worldwide, powerful nations want to rule over others, and so they oppress weaker ones, and the peace is violated.
Which is not justice.
Yeah. Justice sometimes also means to mind your own business. It is more like practicing on the golden rule by Imam Ali alayhi salam. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
An excellent answer. Now we're going to discuss how Imam Ali alayhi salam administered justice in his 4.5 years of being Khalifa. This period was when his justice shone out and he was able to establish the most just government. Sausan.
He replaced all the corrupt governors. He re-established the rule of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. His book Nahjul Balagha also shows us many letters and sermons by which he advised people to practice justice. He was a perfect role model of justice as he lived the simplest of lifestyle and he wore 2 shabby pieces of cloth and ate 2 loaves of dry bread. There are many cases whereby he acted out very justly, and they are found in a book called Selected Judgments of Ali alayhi salam. I'll quote only one. There's once a woman whose abdomen had become larger, and her brothers wanted to kill her, blaming her of conceiving a child without getting married. She was brought to Masjid al-Kufa, and Imam asked them to bring a big basin and filled some river water in it. He asked the woman to sit in the water, and after a while a leech came out of the body, which the Imam showed to the public was the cause of her abdomen swelling. Had Imam not done justice, the woman would have been killed by her own brothers. There are several such examples of justice shown by Imam Ali during his rulership. His main justice was to give the poor their rights, even if it meant depriving those in possession of luxurious lifestyles they had got used to, devouring upon the public treasury.
Even non-Muslims have praised Imam Ali for this term. There's this Lebanese author, his name is George Jordak. He has written The Voice of Justice. It's based on Imam Ali's justice. So, Zainab, do you have any examples of how Imam Ali administered justice?
Yes, there was one incident where 2 mothers and a child came to the court and they complained to Imam Ali that both of the mothers said that this one child is ours. So Imam Ali said, told one person to take a knife and cut the child in half. And when he was about to do that, one of the mothers said that, don't cut him, don't hurt him, just give him to the other person. And Imam Ali gave it to the same person who said that don't give it, because a mother
would never want a
child to get hurt. Yeah, child to get hurt.
He knew that the real mother would never let her child. Yeah, excellent example of justice. So, did Imam Ali alayhi salam simply sit on his chair and solve issues of justice, or did he even involve himself in wars during his Khilafat?
He did involve himself in wars, like there were the 3 wars, the Battle of Jamal, Battle of Siffin, and Battle of Nahrawan.
Yes, that's the right answer. His main aim of leadership was to instill justice, and Imam Ali had mentioned that even if he received the 7 regions of the world and everything under the sky, he would still not disobey Allah and defy justice, even if the defying of justice would be by taking a grain of rice away from an ant. Okay, now we're just going to briefly mention the 6 different ways that Imam Ali has instilled justice. Zainab, can you start off with a few?
6 ways Imam Ali instilled justice was by family, because justice, of course, starts at home.
You can't instill justice in your community when there's injustice
in your house.
Home.
Then there is friends, because you are known by the company you keep.
And then governors.
And then there's governors.
Yeah. Sausan.
He was just to the weak of the community. At that time, the weak of the community were those who were dark-skinned and the women. And he was just to the non-Muslims and even the enemies of Islam.
So, thank you Zainab, thank you Sausan for sharing all this information. For those who'd like to join me as guests, can call at 0712928995 or email at ibntv@raha.com. Now for a short story for our viewers. A candle burnt by Imam Ali's side as he was recording the expenses and revenue of the Bayt al-Mal, the state treasury. Just then, Talha and Zubair appeared. They wanted to be people of authority in Imam Ali's rule and had come to strike a deal. If Imam Ali gave them a place of distinction as they wanted, they would, in turn, pledge their full support to him. Imam alayhi salam obviously knew about this. Just as they sat down and began discussing, Imam Ali alayhi salam put out the candle that was burning beside him and lit another one. Talha and Zubair exchanged a glance of surprise, and then one of them said, "O Ali, we have come on some important business, but why did you extinguish the first candle?" Imam Ali replied, "That was a candle bought of the Baytul Mal funds. As long as I worked for the treasury, I used it. Now you have come for some personal work, so I am using the candle bought of my personal fund." After hearing, Talha and Zubair left him without saying another word, because now they knew that if Imam Ali was so just, he would not use the Baytul Mal funds for his own personal use. He would never cheat and give them a place of distinction just for some support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.